And we are recording. Okay, as always, I am Brian Kynes, the creator of the Tales of Ulran world setting, the campaign setting, whatever you want to call it. We use Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to tell our story, and the awesome fella beside me helps me write it, or his backstory, just one game at a time. And tonight's a little weird one. We just had a couple extra hours to spend on a Saturday night, and we've never had a chance to play through some of the more intricate parts of Brahmas's or Mirk's backstory, which needs to be done because it's good shit. There's no way around it. And I know that recently, Jeremy, I've been throwing you little hints onto visions and things that you've been having and stuff like that, and this will hopefully answer a couple of those questions for you. And this will also help us dive into the path that you chose as a paladin, which is the path of the Einherjar, or Einherjar, or however you pronounce it. I'm terrible.
Einherjar.
It's spelled Einherjar, as if you're being carried around in a jar. So however you want to say it. But let's go ahead and just kind of create this little side chapter. We know that the main group, which we're gaming tomorrow night, is getting ready to go off to the Crescent Cradle to go on this bounty. And everyone has kind of selected what they're doing in their downtime before the next morning when everyone's leaving. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you going back to... I know at one point you were thinking about going to Vander's to do some more studying, but Bastille, Danny's character, had mentioned that you need to be treated like less of a thing and more like a person. Now, do you remember what that entailed? Were you going to possibly stay with him, go to find a different place to stay the night, or do you recall what your next step was?
I believe the plan was going to Vander's. I know Bass brought it up.
Yeah.
But it was more so to see about getting accommodations through what was his name?
When you work full time, you only get to play once every other week. This shit's gonna happen. It's all good. Just
Plus there was Dabbledun. He asked him about getting better accommodations for Brahmas.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll say for now, just to kind of get through this and get into the meat of what we got going on, that you have went back to Vander's, and we'll say this is going to be later in the afternoon. I remember, let's kind of separate you from what the rest of the group is up to. We know Tamara and Silouan had went out and got some more wares and things for her new place up in the Drunken Mug, and I know that Dahon was staying with the airship that I lung at Big Gun Dabbledun's because it was getting repairs and things were getting put up onto it. Okay, they were bringing in that new arcane cannon that they had purchased that throws lightning and thunder and shit like that. There's all kinds of cool shit. So, with your character, I'm going to say you go back to Vander's, and at that point, the shop seems to be empty other than Ember, which is hanging out on the balcony up above, just on the outside of that large library that's in the second level of this place that we've discussed. You've been up there many different times. Most times she'll bring you books, because you're a large construct. To walk up there amongst all these sometimes is a little awkward, and although you're getting better control of Brahmas, you're still a little fearful that you'll knock something over up there. So usually she'll bring you books down, and you'll look at them at the main tables in the front lobby of this place, or you have passage down into one of those rooms and chambers underneath of this place. When you walk in the door, you see Ember, and she's up there swinging her legs, playing around, and roll a perception check for me, Jeremy. Tell me what you get.
Well,
A 12. She looks like you walked in on her doing something she wasn't supposed to do, and you barely caught a glimpse of some minor arcane trick that she had, but you're not quite sure what you saw with the 12. There was some kind of magical effect in front of her that she was playing around with almost like a toy, and when you walked in, you can see that her sleeves rattled and her hood kind of moved real quick to put that away so you couldn't see exactly what she was doing. Okay? With that...
And is it obvious to him that it was something she didn't want anybody to know about?
Yes, although a 12 couldn't perceive what it was, you can see it's almost like when you catch your daughter eating in the cookie jar and she knows she's not supposed to have them. Kind of that feeling.
I would say at her surprise, if she looked at Brahmas, it would just kind of give her that motion.
With that large stone and metal finger, you go up and give her that motion. She grins. Just a minute, let me turn my air conditioner down. Okay. I don't know how bad the background noise is from that. I don't think it's too bad, but still. Could you hear it through there?
I could hear it, but it's on it floods out.
Okay. So, with that, she stands up and she makes her way down the side stairways. Like I said, there's these two large wrapping stairways that lead up to that top area where the library is. And they come down to either side of the main counter where Vander does his investigations. There's a lot of different books. Some are open, some are closed, melted down candles. You know, the typical works that are in this place. And as she comes down, she closes a couple of his books because he'll absent-mindedly leave shit like it all the time. And she starts talking to you just about mundane things, Jeremy. She smiles, and the first thing she says is, she goes, "Are you going to be the only one that's staying here tonight? Is it just another Brahmas and Ember camp out, just going through books and looking through stuff?" And she looks really excited about that, and she's asking you that question.
So,
what'd you say, Jeremy?
Looks at her and says, "I believe so, little."
Okay. She turns around and she grabs a book off the counter. She goes, "I know you were trying to look into some of these things earlier, but I actually found some other stuff that might help you. Don't tell Vander, of course. I didn't get it from here exactly." As she looks a little guilty as she's looking around the room, she goes, "But I found some other books that might be able to help. Here, check this out." And it's weird when she finishes that sentence, the words start to seem distant somehow. It's weird. It's almost like you're having some kind of tunnel vision effect. You know, almost like when you're getting real hot outside and your sight gets narrowed a little bit and words get a little muddled and things like that, and you're not quite there. You're feeling a little bit of that right at the moment. Just for the hell of it, roll me a Constitution check. Just 1d20 plus your Constitution modifier. This is for Mirk, and it's a 16.
For Mirk.
Yeah. You may have had like a 0 or a -1. I know you tried to work on it, but he wasn't in the best healthy state. Can you find what your bonus was?
I can't even find where I wrote the stats to. So I know we used some of the stats the same, but we went ahead and re-rolled some of them for.
Yeah, strength and constitution were 2 of them. Well,
You're right. I think the decks remain the same between the two.
Yeah. Well, let's just say, for sake of argument, you have a 0, because I know that Mirk's health wasn't the greatest because of the state he was in, correct? What
Yeah,
was
if that's the case, I roll a 13.
a 13? Okay. So as that happens, you sometimes when you're looking through Brahmas's eyes and you're really connecting with this construct, you'll have these little flashes back and forth between being outside of Brahmas, or in other words, looking through his eyes, and then little flashes where you're inside again, standing looking at those three windows, and with different things levitating in the room and operating him as you would. And when you have this sensation that comes over you, you flash in and out of those two planes of existence. Like your mind is getting pulled from being in Brahmas back into being inside of Brahmas. Okay? So, and it's a very strange situation. What do you do in light of this? Is you're trying to maintain focus on what's going outside of Brahmas, but you're getting pulled back in for some reason.
I think he's going to fight it.
Okay? And with a 13, let me roll a DC. Okay. You try to for just a minute, and you kind of take a deep breath, and you see Ember turn around, slowly almost like time has slowed maybe 25%, Jeremy, okay? And you hear her say something, and it sounds like it's very, very far off. You see the mouth move, and then you hear the words, a good 2 seconds after her mouth moves. And she's saying, are you okay? What? Hello? Where'd you go? Mirk? And then things start to dim. It looks like it's dimming in the room she's in. And as it dims down, it almost looks like she's on a stage with a spotlight on her, where she's the only thing lit in the room. And as you focus more and more, trying to focus your sight in on this, all of a sudden, everything else around her is pitch black but her. And she's standing there and she's looking at you and she's waving her hand up. Hello? And all of a sudden, in that moment, Jeremy, you feel like you're being pulled backwards. It actually takes your breath away, almost like you're at the top of a roller coaster ride. Okay? You feel yourself take a deep breath in, and you can feel the wind through your hair. And then, at that point, what would you be trying to do? Are you trying to be back inside of Brahmas, seeing what the hell's going on? Or are you still trying to focus on the outside? What is it you're doing at this moment? It's very weird.
I think given, this isn't something he's ever gone through, has it?
No, you don't think so?
I would say, given that, he's going to try to maintain focus on something familiar, which would be trying to keep his eyes on Ember.
Okay, roll me another Constitution check with disadvantage.
A 9.
Okay, with a 9, you feel yourself being taken away and you are drawn back into Brahmas. The windows are gone. And you're in that room. But here's what's weird. This is where the Labyrinth movie really comes into play. When you are back into that room, all of a sudden you're looking down and the 3 windows are gone. And everything in the room seems like your memories are muddled. Like the training dummies over to the side. Or the relics of the bottles and things that maybe you drink out of and books you have open are all floating and moving in odd ways around you, as if it's a dream that's becoming unraveled. And you look down and you see that you are starting to be pulled backwards. You're looking down at the stones on the floor and they seem to be moving from underneath of your feet. As you reach out to hold on to something, you feel slowed. And all of a sudden you feel yourself moving backwards further and faster with each passing moment. You go out through the door, and all of a sudden you go out and the door is closed behind you. Slam! All of a sudden you feel yourself being pulled upwards through this large outdoor stairway that you always climb. This is the spiral staircase that leads to all the different kinds of rooms in this particular part of Brahmas. And you get these nervous sensations in your stomach, like, what is this? What? I have control over this. I can handle this. And you know that you're getting taken to a place that you've never been before here. It's almost like you've went to the center of this room and you're going by steps to different doors. Nothing's open, Jeremy. And as you're going up further and further and further, as you can only look down, you almost want to try to turn your head to see what is at the very top. You're going higher than you've ever physically been inside this place. Okay? But the G-forces that are in this place and everything won't let your head turn, and there's a blinding light up above you. Okay? And the only thing you can hear before the light overwhelms and you're surrounded in a complete whiteout is a strong, feminine voice that almost has like a Norse type accent to it. And this is Mirk, aid me. And with that, all of a sudden you feel a wave of heat. You smell smoke. You smell decay, and you feel hot wind on your face. You feel your feet touching stone. This is a real feeling. This isn't like when you're, Mirk outside of Brahmas. This feels too real to be a dream. Okay? I would like for you to do an intelligence check for me, please.
That's when I get it very far. It's a 3 plus bonus.
Your intelligence remains the same.
It's a 6 altogether.
6. You're not quite sure what is happening here exactly, but this feels like life, Jeremy. This feels as real as anything that you've ever felt before. You feel the weight of your armor on your chest. You feel the hair tickle your ears as it blows through here. You feel this nasty smell of fire and brimstone. And with that, I would like to go ahead and share a screenshot for you, if you don't mind. Okay. With that, are you able to see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to resize this just a little bit, make us a little bit bigger over here for some fun. Okay, so you see our two images on the right, and then you see the map with your image on the left, correct?
Yep.
Okay. You seem to have some kind of aura wrapped around you, holding you and binding you to this place. And you look around, and this seems to be some form of a hellscape-like area. There are fallen pillars here. There are bones of ancient creatures lying around that make no sense to you. You've never seen anything quite like this before. Okay? The weirdest part about it is, I'm going to start a little bit of music up in the background, if that's okay with you. I'll turn it down. Just a moment. Can you hear that music? Violin.
We're so faint.
Good, that's how I want it. Okay? And when you look in front of you, you see summoned spirits. This is some of the stuff that you've read about when you were reading into the Valkyries and in Harryar and things of this nature. This place feels familiar to you, Jeremy, although you just can't quite place it. You know what I'm saying? As you look into them, they're in a spiritual form. much like the way that you are on different occasions when you step outside of Mirk. Okay? And behind you emerges someone. As this celestial figure comes into view, it looks very familiar. But for some reason though, you still feel like there's some kind of threat here. You sense danger, although you're not quite sure where it's coming from. Your heart's beating in your chest. You remember battle. But the last battle you remember, you lost your life. This isn't it. This is somewhere different. This angelic warrior-looking woman looks down upon you as she floats with wings expanded that aren't even barely flapping but moving slow motion. And she comes down before you about 10 or 15 foot away, and she looks at you. And she says, "What is this?" "This is not normal." You look free of me. Can you speak?"
Yeah.
She looks around and she looks over the side panicked, and you hear another voice coming from one of these images up ahead. It seems to be a female spirit in the front that has the bone of some kind of small draconic creature on top of her head, something that doesn't make any sense to you, maybe a wyvern of some kind. She says, "Velindal, they're approaching. What do we do?" And the name is Velindal. She seems to be speaking to this, best you can figure, some kind of celestial being standing behind you. Okay? If you want to write that down, that is VEL-UN with a hyphen in it and DAHL. Velindal. And I'm curious, Jeremy, what is the mindset of Mirk right now as you seem to be breathing in life? You seem to be on a battlefield as if brought here by some forces that are not of your own. What is the mindset here of your character, buddy?
I think right this second he's probably more confused than anything. He went from talking to Ember to being in the castle to being ripped out of the castle and pulled to here. So it's just kind of like, what is going on?
Okay.
And I think he would probably feel like maybe this is another memory or just one of the things that the castle's trying to show him. I don't think he would peg this as a real event.
Okay. Good deal. Good call. So, on that note, if you wanted to find out one of those memories, or you think this is something in the castle, this is more vivid than real than anything you have felt since you came into this being. This feels very different to you, but oddly familiar, Jeremy. As you hear this voice coming from this warrior woman out in front of you, it's just here like a ghostly spirit-like form, you notice that you look complete. You look as you did that day on the battlefield before you passed. You're somewhat dirty. You look like you've done battle. You feel sweat in your hair. And then you feel another wave of heat. And as you look out past these creatures and your vision starts to set in, you see something else on the horizon. Off in the distance, you hear a very deep, bellowed voice coming from what seems to be a river of lava. It's only what you could describe in your mind of what a monster-like demon would appear to be to you, or what the legends should say they look like, right? As it holds up a hand, it literally has lava and fire moving through its veins as if they glow in the darkness, in the clouds of soot that float in the air above this thing. In a deep voice, it says, "We march forward!" As it yells and brings an arm down. As it does, it opens up its mouth and lets out this long, hollow, moaning sound. It almost sounds like a war horn. Okay? And as it does, these nightmarish-like steed creatures that look like black horses with flames from around their feet come up out of this river of lava with knights on their back that seem to have the faces of the dead on them. As they rise out and walk onto the shore, walking out of this lava as if a person walking out of a lake from swimming. They march up dripping molten rock and flames from their bodies as they come to the edge and begin to slowly and meticulously walk forward, lining the bank. The demon back past them even further. This is what you're looking at, boss. This feeling of dread goes through you. I want you to roll me a Constitution saving throw. Okay, as you roll that on a 14, all of a sudden the spiritual woman behind you, you have to assume maybe this is a Valkyrie from the things that you read before, but you can't imagine why. You can't imagine how. But it feels familiar, Jeremy. It's like when you open your mouth and just let things happen, things come out right. You know what I'm saying? And she looks at you and she says, "Mercantile, don't worry, I can aid with this." I would like you to roll a 1d8 and add that to your Constitution saving throw. As she raises a hand and you feel a bit of warmth, and that warm breeze seems to part from you for a minute and be replaced with a cool one coming from her direction.
It's 4.
With the blessing of this Velendal, you seem to have overcome the fear that was building up in your gut. All those feelings of what it's like to be in danger again. You're brave, Mirk, and you were the day that you were taken down at the foot of the Mountain of Tears by those Drakian horde. But this is real. As she goes, "I haven't time to explain to you exactly what's happened here, but aid me. Aid me, Mercandal, as you have many, many times in the past. Hold them back. Keep them away from this ruin. Or this is another battle that the angels have lost." She has a long spear at her side, and as she sits it into the ground, and it does with a booming sound, this thunderous wave erupts from her, sending tremors through the dust and brimstone debris around your feet, and blows outward. It seems to bring into you some kind of feeling of might, some kind of potential. It's almost like she's cheered you on. You remember what this feels like, and it feels good. This is the same kind of shout that you did for all your friends that time when we were doing battle. Do you remember what the name of that was, Jeremy?
I want to say it was Valkyrie's favorite.
I believe it was, wasn't it? If you can look at what Valkyrie's favor is, I would like for you to take that effect and add it to yourself, please. And while you're doing that and looking up those things, I'm going to continue with some narration, okay? Alright. So, with that, the other warriors and different people from all different parts of the world. These are all kinds of different nationalities. These are all kinds of different faces from all different kinds of periods in time, Jeremy. It's literally like it feels real, but it's almost like you're in some kind of storybook. These people couldn't have lived at the same time. Things don't make sense here. And to say that to you, that's pretty impressive, because a lot of things are weird that make sense to you. Did you find out about Valkyrie's favor and what that does for you? Explain it to me, please.
It's you call upon an entity that grants you the gift. Roll a charisma check to determine the potency of the request or favor.
You can do that, and you can also add a 1d6 to it because of the aura that is around her, you being so close to her.
So 27.
Fuck yeah, it is. So what does that mean for this? Do you just like shoot holy rays out of your ass now, or what happens, buddy? Holy crap.
From the top down, it's advantage on all attacks and upgrades the radiant damage dealt to 1d8. All allies make one automatic attack or base level cantrip. Ignore damage resistance and plus 1d6 radiant damage on all attacks, which is 1d8 now.
Right.
And then that's to the end of their next turn. And then advantage plus 1d6 radiant damage on their next attack.
Okay.
So
keep those things in mind.
That looks like that's going to be 2d8 damage for the next attack and 1d6 for all attacks thereafter.
That's added on top. It's added on top of what he usually does, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is, as they coin, that is badass, sir. Okay, 27 on that roll is fucking astronomical.
Yeah,
all right,
30 maxes it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, which seems fitting that you're right before this thing that you've only read about delving into your memories. You are in those books now, Jeremy. You are living the answers that you've wanted. What is this? How did you get here? Why is she inspiring you so much, and how the hell does she know your name? But when she yells out to you with this Valkyrie's favor, this blessing, and you see these demons and these undead and these death knights and these nightmares getting ready to come towards you, you feel compelled to do her will. But you have a choice. And that's different. She seems bewildered by your humanity in this situation. You seem to be able to grasp on the more personality and reason than the other ones that are here, with their eyes just whited out, just being spiritual entities here to command. You seem to have, it's almost like having control of a dream, Jeremy. Does that make sense, buddy? And it feels good, sir. It feels good. With that, I would like for you to roll initiative. Because why hesitate?
Explain to me how somebody loses their character sheet in 30 seconds.
You know, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not proud of you, Jeremy. And is that music too loud for you, or does that sound good on your side, bud?
Perfect.
Okay, so you can hear me narrate, but it's there to add and all that other shit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal, sir. That's the goal.
There it is.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to roll for a lot of other people here real quick, just for the hell of it. Maybe make up a little bit of shit, and we'll see what happens, okay? fuck's sake. What have I done to myself here? Holy shit. Rolled 3 20s, sir. Holy hell. Okay, what did Mirk get?
22.
22. Nice, buddy. Okay, so let me go through here and get my order first. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is gonna require some glasses. I can see that now. Oh, that's a little bit better. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's go number 1 here. Let's go number 2 here. Let's go number 3 here. Let's go number 4 here. Let's go number, okay, what we got now? Let's go 5. It's 21. Let's go 6. Okay. Right here. Is that number? Let's go 7. Okay. Just a minute, buddy. I'm almost done. A lot of folks. Let's go 8. Nine. Go 10. Let's go 11. Let's go 12. Let's go 13. Let's go 14. Let's go 15. And I think that is, my God, that's everybody. Okay, Jesus. All right. So, let's go ahead and get, yeah, go ahead, buddy.
I don't think we ever determined his equipment. He's got a long sword and a shield.
He does, that's it.
I don't think we ever brought up what stats or anything.
Nope, just a long sword and shield, the same one. He used the same stuff for it. He has a great sword, that's what he used.
Oh, does he use a great sword in this form?
Mm-hmm.
As well as a shield?
One or the other.
Gotcha. That'll work for me.
Okay.
Ease of access.
Yep. And you can use your I will let you use your reaction or bonus action or one attack on each turn to switch between them if you'd like. Just keep it cool, okay? The rule of cool, Jeremy. It's all good. Just so you're showing it, time is spent switching. Okay? So, on that note, the first creature to go is going to be, just a minute. Okay, right here. Down here at the bottom. Alrighty. This guy right here. He's going to be the first one to go, Jeremy. And what I did was I put this neat graphic because I just thought it fit really good. These things take up about 10 foot of space. Each one of these, this is a 10 by 10 square, each one of these, okay? And these things take up a 10-foot area. So if you ever got to ask me, when we're talking about this creature, okay, the area that it encompasses would be here and then beside it. Not above it or below, but it's long. Yes. That's how we're going to do that, okay? And I put a neat graphic of what the face of the thing looks like too. Besides, I think it looks kind of cool. Do you like it that way?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Because that horse, it looked too cool not to do it. And I'm having them act as one unit in this. If you want to target something specifically, you let me know and I've got stuff for that. All right, buddy? Okay. As this creature charges forward, something very interesting happens below it. And I will try to do this the best justice that I can. As it runs forward at 40 foot of movement, let's go ahead and get it to move. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It leaves a trail of fire behind it that is about 5 foot tall and 5 foot wide. Okay? And we're just going to generically paint that on here with a brush. Let's get some fire red going on. Let's go right here with it. Enlarge my pen a little bit. And it leaves this trail of flames behind it as it goes. All right, buddy?
Cool.
And at that point, it's going to take its spear and it's going to throw it. And when it throws the spear, it almost looks like the spell that you're familiar with of Firebolt. Okay, and it's going to target the maiden and Harrier here on top. So here's what we're going to do to make this fast. I'm going to roll 1d20 plus my bonus. I'm going to roll 1d20 for the roll, and I'm going to roll 1d10 to see how well they attack. I would have you do the same thing. You're going to have a 1d20 and a 1d10 in your hand. Whoever gets the highest roll on this has the better round of these two. I have just kind of an alternative way we're going to do this to get through it, okay?
Sure.
So roll your 2 and tell me what you get.
17.
Okay. I got a 19. So, as that happens, we're going to say that he overcomes in this conflict and throws this firebolt and hits this one over here on the side. I'm going to roll damage. Okay. And you see her get peppered and stuck as that spear goes through her character, her ghostly form, and sticks into the ground below her. And this large fiery spear that it threw looks like it sticks into the ground through her. Now the spear doesn't physically touch her, but the flames burn and make her dissipate a little bit, almost like waving a hand through a fog cloud. And you can tell it hurts her as she yells out in pain, but it's a mighty like, "Ah!" You know what I mean? She's a warrior. She's not going to have that shit easy. As the flame licks up and goes through the eyeballs of that wyvern-like headpiece that she has on with the open eye sockets. Let me go ahead and fix that. She is number 1. Okay. All right. With that, it is your turn, sir. What is it you would like to do on your turn?
Just a second.
I will pan out a little bit so you can see a little bit more of your distance and things of that nature. And if you have any questions about anything, you want me to show you something closer, I can.
I found the info on the ethereal stat block and what I could do and whatnot. Let's check on something real quick.
You're okay. Hey, we ain't professionals now. It's all good. Don't beat yourself up, Jeremy. You're just giving me time to drink a little bit of beer. Liking it.
The fun part's going to be figuring out what Mirk can do and what he can't do. As
you can do all the
Brahmas.
physical. You can do all the physical feats that Brahmas can do, as far as feats that you've learned.
Right.
But the mechanics that you can pull, the overdrives and things like that, you cannot do.
Yep. All right.
Your movement speed is going to be 40 foot in this case. You feel very light and lighter than you normally would have back in the day. You're able to move pretty far.
Now, does it look like he could pick up the spear?
Well, it's still wreathed in flames. And what happens is at that moment, you know what, just for the hell of it, roll me a perception check.
16?
When that happens, that spear's there and it's burning, and that warrior that in Harryar has to step away from it. You can see that this Death Knight on this nightmare has another one that emerges in his hands, almost like he's being gifted these things. Like maybe that demon lord is controlling battlefield stuff. This thing has another one ready to throw on his next turn now. It has came back into his hand. That one remains there burning.
Can I tell, is that physical fire or magical fire?
Roll an Arcana check.
It's a natural 20 to make it a 23.
This seems to be a physical spear with magical hellfire on it. You don't know where you are, but this is some serious stuff.
Think. No, I think that he is going to be as he has been with Brahmas. And it's not. He's going to go up. He's going to grab the spear out of the ground.
Okay.
With the intent of pitching it back.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and go down to that then. Let's go to and here are our soldiers.
Because he's seen how the fire affected them. He doesn't want it anywhere near him, so he's going to get it away.
No, I get it. Okay, so as you do, you have 5. Oh, nope, don't want to do that. Just a minute. Yeah. Maybe if I hit the wrong button, my friend. What do you think? Go ahead and do this. That's what I'm looking for. So we got 5, 10, 15 foot, and you're right here beside her. As you do, you reach in to grab the spear. I need you to do a Constitution saving throw for me. And add whatever, if that blessing that you have from the Valkyrie's favor aids in this, add it to it if you want to. It's up to you.
Don't think it adds to any ability checks.
Okay.
Unless it was part of that original bless that she gave me to overcome the fear.
It wouldn't. It doesn't seem to last through this, but it is keeping you brave.
Right. Either way, it's a 19.
A 19. Okay, you only take 1 point of damage. You know, you only take half of 2, so yeah. From the fire around the spear that seems to have an effect as you reach down and grab it out of the ground and pull it up as if you want to hurl it yourself. You can see the warrior woman relieved as you remove that flaming thing from burning her further. Okay? That damage goes straight to you. That's straight lethal. Alright? And you have a distance of quite a ways here. You still have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 65 foot to get to anything.
Okay. Last. Make sure I got something correct here.
Okay?
Shit. It's gotta be a melee attack. Okay. I think he's gonna go ahead and move the rest of his what is it, 25 feet forward.
Okay. 5, 10, 15.
We'll put him at the bottom of the stairs there for 20 foot.
There's 20.
Yeah.
Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. About 50 foot to reach one of them. You'd have to throw it 50 foot. Is that within the long range of you throwing a spear?
Don't recall the stats on a spear. Like I can
Well,
pull it up relatively quickly though. It's just a regular spear.
feels like it. Feels like a almost like a lance. I'm looking here in the player's handbook for you. So let's see here. This would be under equipment, correct?
Yes, it's a 20 regular, 60 long.
You got it. It's long range. Is that a disadvantage?
I believe so, but with Valkyrie's favor, that doesn't matter.
Awesome, buddy. Okay. So you're using that to cancel out the disadvantage. Which one of these bad boys? I'm going to say you could target either one of these two right here.
Chuck it right back at old boy that threw it at us.
All right, cool. Well, if he's a monk, you could have done that a lot easier. But you weren't there to catch it. But still. All right. So go ahead and roll your one attack. And is there anything you want to do special with this?
I don't think there's much he can do.
You have divine smites.
Melee attack.
And what? Oh, this is ranged. Okay. Okay. So they won't let you do a divine smite on something that has range on it?
Oh, and I just thought that'd been really cool to flavor that as like a lightning bolt or something.
You know what, dude? I'll allow it. And listen, here's the thing. I've had this debate before, and not, trust me, I'm all about kicking players' asses, right? But if you spend a spell slot or magic points like we do in our game, all right, and you are blessing your next attack to do something, right? The next one that hits to do something, I don't know why that doesn't count for an archer as someone that's swinging a sword, or if you're doing a spell. Like if you're a paladin, you're casting magic missile, and that's the next thing that you do to attack, and that's the next hit. I'm going to put your divine smite on top of that next magic missile that hits. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that only makes sense to me just because the basis of this is holy power that you are having bestowed upon you to do this. I don't think it's going to stick to you just, well, only if you swing at something that's within 5 foot of you. So, Brian's rule of cool, divine smite works on spells and ranged. Also, what's great about that is it does the same thing for the bad guys.
Just fair to me.
Okay. So, and that's just one major option that paladins always have, but you know, you have a world of cool shit at your fingertips, so don't just go with it. What do you want to do here, bud?
I know he's going to pitch it, and it's going to be a regular attack because of his advantage.
Okay, and what's your bonus to hit? 11?
A great question. I know with his great sword, it's a plus 10.
Okay. I don't. Are you're proficient with all martial weapons, correct?
I think so.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do that, but if you have like whatever bonuses you've put on your attack, like as far as being specified on great swords, those wouldn't count, like skill points.
Right.
So you'll get your strength or dex, which is dexterities for your aim on this thing, okay, and then your proficiency bonus, and that's going to be your bonus to hit with it.
Plus 6, I'd say.
Okay.
That's my proficiency plus my dexterity.
Okay. Roll your d20.
That's 2. Plus weapons are affected a little bit differently.
Someone's casting slamming dishes on you back here, buddy. You better be careful.
Oh,
You know what I like about 16-ounce beers, Jeremy?
what's that?
3 equals 4.
Mm-hmm.
I like those odds.
Yeah. Then 8, 2d6, radiant necrotic. All right.
About got her?
Yeah, just make sure I can hit now.
We are 10 minutes into your turn.
That'd be 17 plus 6. So 23.
Okay, and you are throwing at that number, what was he again here? Let's see. Number 2. Just a minute, okay. And you said that was a 23?
Mm-hmm.
Hits, but it does not breach.
Now, is it too late to add my weapon specialization?
No. The problem is you're not a weapon specialist with a spear.
That's true.
With great weapons.
Yeah.
Like if you had a great spear in your hand and you were cleaving it sideways like a sword, I'd give it to you. But since you're throwing this, that's not going to work. That's what's neat about our system. It can make you very powerful, but it's also to a limited field of stuff.
A 25 because I get a +2 bonus because I've got the dueling fighting style.
Okay. 25 hits and breaches. Nicely done, sir. Okay, so having said that, what is this damage looking like, and describe it to me? The sphere seems itself like it does 1d10. And if you pumped anything else into it or anything else like that, I need to just let me know.
Well, I don't know if you want to go with my weapon being the only one affected by the ethereal form or any weapon I'm holding. If it's any weapon I'm holding, it's 2d6. And it does necrotic and radiant damage.
It's any weapon that you're holding.
Cool.
I mean, I'm not trying to be your best buddy here, but that's the case of it. When you have this Valkyrie's Favor cast on you, it adds that to your next attack. It's generating from you and through the whatever weapon you have as a beacon of that.
Okay. That'll work. So you said 1d10?
1d10 is just what the spear does physically.
Okay. 7 for the 1d10.
Okay. Plus
the 6 radiant necrotic for the spiritual weapon.
okay.
That is 5, 10, 16, 18, 26 radiant damage.
And what is that from?
That is from the Valkyrie's Favor, and that is also from Divine Smite.
Holy shit, make sure to minus off the magic points from that.
Yep.
You did a total of...
And it ignores any damage resistance he has to those effects.
That's what's awesome. So you did a total of 26, 32, that's 39 points of damage. And when you do this with radiant damage, you feel that it really hurts this fucking thing. Okay? It takes more than what you had planned. When you do this, it's plus half.
I'll take it.
Yes. So doing that much, I need to do something for you real quick. Okay. With a natural 3, this creature seems to have went through a heavy radiant hit back from its own spear. And as that lands and does that, as the spear is going through the air, you see the flames wick out of it and come back twice as strong, only with the golden and white glowing ones that you're familiar with, as if your light conquered that dark on that attack. As it was coming back for it, the knight almost reared up, and it has that spear on that shield on its arm, and it almost reared up and sneered. And you could see the white teeth of it in the distance, and it started to raise that shield up. As it came through and hit that damage, it hit that shield, went through the end of it, and a blast of that flame comes out from around the back side of that. With that hit, that sentry is no more. And it begins to fade out of view. As that happens, the flames that left in its trail wick out from behind it. And you hear a deep, demonic howl of pain from the demon lord in the very back. And Rah! Hear that? Says, forward! As he yells. What is it you're doing now?
At that point, there's nothing else he can do right this second. So he's going to hold his ground.
Okay. You have, you're just staying right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get through the next round of things theatrically. Okay. Let's go ahead and say you went, Mirk. This creature went. That one went. Let's see who number 3 is. Okay, is a Dark Knight number 2. So let's find that one real quick. Death Knight number 2 is right here. Right above the last one. Okay. On its turn, it is going to okay, got it. You are right there ahead of it. And angered by what has just happened, it is going to advance forward towards you in a charging strike. 5, let's see if we can do this right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That puts you within 10 foot of it. Normally you'd have to be right here to be hit. You're just outside the range of the son of a gun. As he's charging straight up towards you. Can't quite reach you. So we're going to freeze frame that as he is coming with that spear drawn down, charging right at you. Try to remember that, okay? That's the action that's happening here. This guy is coming for blood right now. Okay? And behind it, it is also going to use that ability and leave that fiery trail, which I will create right now. Okay. All right. So, next. Okay, that was this one here. Number 4. The Demon Lord. Okay. In the background, I'm going to roll a concentration check for him because you destroyed one of the ones that was connected to him, Jeremy, with a natural 20. And that was that metal one too. So when I threw it, it literally would just BAM! And just stared the 20 back up at me. It's like, fuck this. Okay, with that, he is going to go ahead and use his action and call it the Death March. And each one of his characters are going to get an automatic 1 melee attack or a ranged attack from where they're at as he uses Death March as his action. Okay? So as he does that, these fiery spears come flying from all directions at the group.
Hey, don't forget, our team would have had that too from the Valkyrie's favor.
Correct. It's a battle back and forth. So, we have the range of these. The things is, these things have the range of a firebolt spell. Okay? So we're just going to pop these off, and we're going to roll random here to see who they hit. We're going to say she's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? I'll roll 1d8 and see how many of these are going to hit. So we're going to say, let's just do a random number of just what this creates, because we're doing mass stuff here. Let's just have some fun with it, okay? Say there's 6 spears coming in from all these creatures. All right? Let me roll 1d8 and see who's getting hit first. Okay, number 2. It's going to be right here. It's coming at this woman here. She seems to be some kind of barbarian woman from the past. Although she's got a female voice and features, she seems extraordinarily sturdy and durable. Let's see how this roll goes. The spear misses as she's able to step beside it, and as she does, she spits out the ground as she barely steps to the side to have the spear miss her in spite of what just happened. The next one. Who's getting aimed at? This will be number 8. This is going to be... No, 8's a reroll. That's going to be a 7. That's you. Okay, one's coming at you now, Mirk. 24.
Passes primary.
Okay, so this hits you. You take 5 points of piercing and 4 points of fire damage. Okay. As the spear hits you just off to the side, you're able to turn and repel it, but it gets through the underneath of your armor and cuts into your body. You feel pain like you have not felt in a long time, Mirk.
Is that regular piercing?
Yes.
He is resistant to it, I believe. Oh, he is immune to non-magical damage.
Right, so you only take the 4 from the fire. Okay. Next one's number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going for the main chick here, the one with that dragon skull on her head. And that misses. As she actually holds her hands up and has a double-sided battle axe that has axes on both ends of the staff. And as she holds this up and chants at, she brings it up and begins to spin it, almost like one of them fire twirlers like the Hawaiian guys do. And as she's spinning that thing, the spear comes out and it knocks it off to the side, and it's parried. Got 2 more. And number 1, this is going at the actually Valkyrie, back here behind you. Let's see how this roll goes. Misses by a mile, natural 5. As it comes in towards her, her wings spread wide, and the thing disintegrates. The flames blow out, and the spear turns to ash before it reaches to her. Okay? It's almost like a meteorite falling to Earth, and it got burned up in the atmosphere. Okay? This one's number 5. Let's go ahead and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's coming at this other woman here a little bit. This woman seems to be a rogue-like character with gothic-like face paint on her. Another miss, natural 5. The rolls aren't going good for them right now, and they're going to have just one more. 7, that's you, Mirk. Okay, last one. 19.
21's my ACP.
Okay, how do you want to say you missed it? Did you knock it to the side, or did you dodge it, or how'd you do it?
I'll say he sidestepped it.
When you do that, this woman here with the dragon on her head looks at you and goes, "You see that? They fear us. Let's bring it to them." And she raises up that axe and shouts at him like this when she does that. Okay? It seems to encourage you when that happens. Okay? Alright, now, next in order. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. You went your turn. It's the Valkyrie's turn right after him. Ha ha! Okay, so what do we want to do with you, young lady? Let's have a little bit of fun here, shall we? What do you think? You think helping provide for us? Or do you think she needs to attack? Or what are you thinking here, Jeremy? You wanna just make a call?
I'm thinking that she would be a little bit more of a supportive commander than anything.
Okay. All right then. Is
The
that
one that's given the inspiring word and all that.
Okay. Here's what you see. Her wings spread high up above her head, Jeremy. It looks like this. All right? As she takes to the sky. And as she does, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 50. She's flying up over top of you. I'm going to say by about 15 foot. Okay? And as she is hovering over top of you, she casts down something on this creature right here. Alright? And as she does, a stroke of lightning comes down from her that hurts and helps at the same time. Okay? So as she does this, a ball of lightning forms up. Okay? And it comes down and crashes around the feet of this creature. Alright? You need to roll a saving throw for it. Dexterity. 17 for that. Okay, roll me a DC. Roll me a 1d20 and a 1d8 to see what the DC of this spell is for the Valkyrie.
Yeah, 18. 19.
19. Okay, the creature fails that. Okay, and with that, it's going to take the damage. Just a minute.
Get her 2d6 radiant from the Valkyrie's favor.
Okay, with that, this creature is hurting. Is hurting severely bad. What's interesting is that once this happens, this lightning energy seems to dim, but it does not go away from the area. It seems to hover and crackle going through the ground. I will dim it, but it will be remaining there on the ground in this area, almost like it has energized that spot. Okay? With that, that creature takes a shitload of hurt there. Let me go ahead and do my damage for that. I need to do a constitution. And it passes. Okay. So that thing looks hurt, buddy. The horse seems to be rearing back, being disorderly, but somehow it's able to compose itself and hang in through the battle. Okay? Not quite being knocked down yet. Okay? And next up is going to be, let's go ahead and say who's number 6 right here. And here you are, number 3. Okay. That's awesome. This in here seems to be like a shirtless, older Celt-like person. This guy has this great bone maul that has what looks to be some kind of silver undead slaying blade stuck into the end of it. Okay, this seems like to be the jawbone of some great massive creature, as he has these long dreads that hangs down from him. As that happens, he is going to charge forward. Let me go ahead and do that. That is in Harry R number 3. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. He gets right up beside this creature. I'd like you to roll me a 1d20 and a 1d10 for this thing's hit and tell me what you get.
$19.
19 hits, but it doesn't breach.
It's got advantage too.
Oh, okay, hold on. Thank you. Oh, that hits. That's a natural 19. And roll the 1d10 for me. Okay, did you roll with advantage when you rolled?
No.
Okay. That's 26, that breaches. I want you to roll me 2d8 plus 7.
9. Plus 7.
16.
16.
That fails the creature. That is enough to take it down. So,
That was another 3 in radius.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So as he goes through, it hits that creature with that large bone maul. As he comes through with that silver-headed axe on it, you can see that the silver-headed thing seems to do a little bit of extra damage to this undead-like, fiend-like creature. And with that, the Death Knight number 2 fades out of existence. But the lightning aura remains on the ground. Okay? Now let's see whose turn it is now. That was the Valkyrie, and then there was the Inheriar, was number... Just a minute, sorry. Make sure I get my order right. Where's number 9 at? Just a minute here, buddy, sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and go to... That was in Harriar number... What was that, number 3? Just a minute. Okay. Okay, we have sentry number 4. Okay, over here, sentry number 4. Let's find you. Okay. There you are up top. Alrighty. So this bad boy, he is going to run a wide arc. See, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. He's going to stop here. Okay. And he is going to throw a spear, and he is going to add the Mortal Slayer as his bonus action to this. And he is going to throw that at you, Mirk. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 within range. Okay, you're not being flanked. There's nothing here to this. 26. That hits?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. Ooh, shit. Oh, shit. 15. So you have 9 points of piercing damage. And then you have 11 points of necrotic damage.
And as a reaction to that, he's getting a blast of hellish rebuke.
Awesome. Well, what do I need to do for that as on his side of shit?
I believe it's a dex.
And if it is, go ahead and roll me your DC. It'd be a 1d20 plus your spell save DC. Let me know what I got to get out of this shit.
Yep, that's it. As his ethereal form, he can only cast it as first level. So it's 18, yep. That would be 18.
18's a DC?
Yep.
Did not pass. What does it take?
$16 points of fire.
Really? Damn, sir. Okay. I see how you play ball. Very nice, bud. Okay. So as this thing takes 16 points of just it's fire damage, correct?
Yep.
Is that because we never talked about if that is modified because of your class. No, it wouldn't be. It's just fire damage. It seems like the fire and flames don't hurt it as much as you had hoped.
Ignores resistance.
Hmm?
Ignores resistance.
It does because the Valkyrie's favor. No shit. As that happens again, you hear a frustration welling up in the demon lord. It seems to be in the back of these, controlling these things. As if you guys are figuring out some moves to this chess game that it's not very happy with. As a deep comes from the back of these things. With that, let's go ahead and end its turn. That was number 4. Okay, let's go ahead and move to number 8.
So make sure you keep an eye on time.
Oh, okay. You about ready to roll?
Yeah, here's it.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and do this then. As that happens, all of a sudden, you feel something tear at your person. Okay? Hey, kiddo. As you're standing there and the fight seems to be going well, and the Inheriar seem to be conquering and doing very well at this, all of a sudden, you feel something cold. Something chilling that you didn't expect, Jeremy. And as it does, all of a sudden your shoulders are thrown back, and you're looking up into the sky. The sky begins to darken around you as darkness starts to come over your character just a little bit. And as that happens, just a minute, buddy, sorry. Wherever he went, hold on here for a minute. Huh. That demon lord seems to have popped up behind you. Okay? And as it did, you have this massive blade sticking up through your chest. Okay? As if it has done a dimension door and came in behind you, and you hear a whispered word as you see the Valkyrie up above you in this darkened soot and clouds, looking down and reaching her angelic hand out at you in slow motion, as if she's screaming out the word, "No, Mirk, hold on." Okay? this voice comes in beside your shoulder, and you can feel the hot breath blowing the black hair over the side of your ear as now you're looking down at dark, wet fingers where you're reaching around this blade that's impaled you. And he says, the more of you that come, the more my blade feeds. I'll see you again. I'll see all of you again. And with that, the words seem to linger off and whisper past you. As you look down, and reality begins to be blurred back and forth a little bit, as you hear her voice one more time saying, hang on, hang on. But with that, you seem to fade from the battlefield. As if your soul has been summoned elsewhere, as if this version of you has been defeated, Jeremy. You slowly fade away, as does the battle that you were a part of. And all of a sudden you're back inside of Brahmas, and you're looking at a very confused Ember. And still waving her hand. Okay. Lips are moving, but you can't hear the words, and they're slowly starting to get louder and louder. As you see Vander seem to run up from the lower cellar part of the shop and up to the thing, goes, what's happened? Oh, gods. And he comes around the side of the corner of the counter, and he's grabbing onto your body and looking over some things, and he's almost calculating and looking at things as she's staying into the back, and she's screaming out your name, but it's starting to get a little bit louder. You are starting to be back where you were before you were taken. I want you to roll a Constitution saving throw for me. Mm-hmm.
4.
Okay. With that, your eyes grow heavy, and then seeing both of them grows dark. You feel yourself falling, but you don't know where. Everything is just blackness. There's no vision to this. You're not looking through Brahmas. You can't see the inside of him, but you feel falling. I need you to take 9 points of bludgeoning damage as you feel your body come to an abrupt stop and your eyes flash open. You're inside of Brahmas, and you feel yourself racked with pain as you fell for some unknown distance, and you hit stairways and things inside the large cylindrical center of this castle that you're a part of, as you feel yourself tumbling down, reaching out, just trying to cling on to something, as you feel like you've been dumped from the very top of this inward dimension, and you've hit material stairs and you're falling down. Roll me a dexterity check to grab onto something to hold on to yourself.
5.
You continue to fall even further. You take an additional 8 points of bludgeoning damage as you come to a rest on a ledge with an arm and your head hanging over just barely. Your mouth is numb with pain as you've bit your own tongue from a landing hard. It feels very real, Jeremy. And you're inside of Brahmas as this is going on. You look down, trying to grasp at whatever's happened to you, and you instinctively clutch at your chest. But nothing's there. No large mark, no large cut. What just happened to you? You're not sure. Tell me what Brahmas is thinking right now. I'm really, really curious.
Yeah, I don't even think he has a thought in his mind other than the million that are racing. He's trying to figure out the faces that he saw, trying to figure out if any of them were familiar, trying to figure out if the demon had any significance to him, if it was something he might have known.
Okay. As you're doing that, you feel a very familiar cool breeze. As you reach up around your head and your ear, and you see the black soot of the place you were actually at still clinging to you, but no wound. And as this cool, gentle breeze goes around from you, you hear the distinct flap of wings and 2 steps landing softly on the stone behind you. What do you do?
Turn around, look.
It is Velendal. Only not as grand with the headdress and things as she was when you saw her on the battlefield, shouting out and commanding. She has that held in her hands, a crown of wings. Her hair flows down along her, mortal looking in this odd and abstract place. She must be some kind of celestial or some kind of unmortal being to be able to be here. But she's here nonetheless. And she stands forward and she puts a hand down. And she gives you a sideways grin. And she goes, Mercandal, it's good to finally meet you. She holds a hand to help you up. What are you doing?
Give her his hand and stand up as best he can.
She pulls you up effortlessly. As you realize you are Mirk now, not Brahmas, but still very strong. And as she pulls you up, she is just a little bit shorter than you and very real and standing right in front of you. She reaches her hand up onto the side of you and smudges off some of that soot. You're full of surprises, aren't you? So this is it, huh? She looks around. She goes, you know, you've tried to explain this place to me an endless amount of times. And you've never done it justice. And she looks at you, and she kind of grins, and she goes, oh, and just so you know, I didn't expect that last blow. I'm sorry you had to live through that. Sarcastically, in a way, as she says you had to live through it. What are you saying?
What happened? What was that?
So now come the questions. She goes, I thought maybe because you seem to be so in touch with yourself, Mirk, that you would know, but obviously not. I chose you to be my Inheriar, as you are one of my favorites. Always brave. You always fight as long as you possibly can. And I've summoned you hundreds of times. But for some reason now it seems you're starting to grow closer to your mortality instead of drifting further away from it, as many of the Inheriar that I summon upon do. They are lost, but you for some reason have managed to find a thread of yourself. This is something new to me. She goes, my name is Velendal. And I was there the day you fell at the Mountain of Tears. I was there and I watched you. And I saw something special in you. And so, as many others, I offered you a deal. Roll a history check. You start remembering flashes, like you do when you're inside this place sometimes, Jeremy. You remember being on the foot of that mountain with dead Draken and other dead warriors from New Gemdar all around you. You remember looking up at her, looking very much like she does now, and offering you a chance to live again, but to serve her as an Inheriar. You remember feeling almost like in the movie Ghost, where Patrick Swayze's character is fighting the fact that he's dead at first and doesn't want to believe it. You remember that. You remember thrashing around and looking through bones and picking up rocks and shit on the battlefield and touching yourself and looking up and exhaling out and seeing your cold breath and things like that and yelling, but everything else other than you and her in that moment was frozen still in time. She telling you, I know it's hard. I know. You remember flashes of that now, and you remember the deal that she offered you. She will give you another chance at life because she has picked you worthy to be an Inheriar. But to serve her in the ongoing battle to make sure that the dream is maintained that was started at the dawn of time. In other words, the afterlife, and the battle between good and evil. She is able to borrow your skills as a warrior and soldier. As almost like a person would summon a creature, and you don't know where that creature comes from. They just pop into existence, and all of a sudden you control them until the spell ends.
No.
As an Inheriar, that's what you are to her, Jeremy. You get it? And she goes, and now it would seem that you're retaining these memories. She goes, I don't understand what kind of workings of the Dreamweavers this is, but it has been a long time since I've had the honor of talking to one of my Inheriar. And you are, Markandal, one of my finest. What do you have to say to her now?
I think at that point he's going to remain silent because it's a lot to suddenly start to remember and take in.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and end tonight's thing because you've got to go. But I hope that scratches the itch and answers a few questions about what you've been doing. Right? That's pretty cool. I'm grinning right now because when I was thinking about this and this Inheriar, path that you're choosing for him, I thought, man, he's just like a summoned creature. Summon you out of the Fae to do this thing, and then when you're dead, pop your back. And that's your deal that you made. It's almost described right there in the first couple paragraphs of that path. It describes this, and well, did you have any idea that this was coming?
No, not yet anyway.
That's fucking awesome. That's cool. And then imagine the relationship you're going to build with this Valkyrie now that you know the chemistry behind this. You're not just some mindless Inheriar now that you're being summoned into this. You have substance. Whereas Inheriar slowly fade off and lose their power over time sometimes, with you, you're getting stronger. It's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat concept. But you and I will bullshit about that after I stop the video. So I'm glad the grin on your face means you enjoyed it, and that makes it worth my while. So if anyone's watching this, hope you enjoyed it too. And if you have any comments or ways you think this should have been maybe done a little differently, or something you think needs to be added in as a dynamic to this, because we're play testing this as we're going, please just leave a comment, and I'll try to get back to each one of them when I can, because we're full-time dads and employees, so we're just doing the best we can here. So lastly, I'm Brian Kynes, Mr. Jeremy Keaton on this side of me. Sorry, I keep pointing the wrong way. And we will see you possibly tomorrow with the rest of everyone. So take care of yourselves.